Hello, it's me. Hi, it's me again. This is going to be a short one, but you should really watch all the way through because there's a surprise in this. So first off, thanks to everybody for all the feedback through the staff surveys, our brainstorms, these meetings, discussions, roundtables we've been having on what we need to do going forward. And as I said in an all-staff meeting, the pivot has begun. Okay, what's she talking about? So what that means is I want to tell you about three things that are going to happen. Because what we want to do now, having diagnosed some of the problems, admired them for a little while, we want to start fixing them. So the first thing, we're going to do this in three phases. The first phase is going to be about our values. Now let me be clear about something here. We're all committed to justice and fairness and equity and equality. But we're talking about what are the values that define us as a team? What are the values that tell us how we work together and for the goals we have? So that'll be phase one. The second phase is dealing with some of the stuff that I think is blocking us, frustrating many of you, and frankly, me. And that's the systems, the processes, the decision making, all of those kinds of things. And we're calling this 1 squared. It's an internal, let's modernize our operations effort. And it's been the product of a lot of the feedback I've had personally in my first few months, a lot of what you all reported up in the staff surveys, and again, the brainstorming calls and other discussions we've had around the strategic questions. The goal here is not to bureaucratize this place, but to take what is a kind of opaque, not terribly effective bureaucracy and create systems that everybody knows about, everybody understands, that will make us more nimble, more transparent, and more effective. The third phase of this is to talk about what I would call drivers. And these are some things I think we want to be asking ourselves as we take on new activities and pursue the paths we're already on. And that's to think about for what we do. There are kind of 4 questions I think we should ask ourselves. First, is our proposal, idea, policy, recommendation, does it reflect the aspirations of our African partners? Because after all, we're doing the work we're doing on behalf of the world's most vulnerable and disenfranchised, the extreme poor. So does it really reflect their aspirations? The second is, one is better than any organization on the planet on mobilizing donors' dollars and foreign assistance or ODA. We got to keep doing that. But I think as many of you know, there was a big agreement signed a couple of years ago called the Financing for Development Agreement that argued, I think rightly, that if the SDGs are ever to be met, we need ODA or aid, we need private capital, and we need domestic resources. Governments need to invest in their own people. So we should ask ourselves, in some cases we're just going to push for the aid, but are there other cases where we can push the envelope on private capital or on domestic resources? The third, and this is a big surprise, facts actually matter. So we should be asking ourselves, what's the evidence? What's the data? What's our analysis? The exciting thing is that development is a discipline. It's an aspiration, but there's a lot that we know and that others know. So let's road test our ideas. The last one is what I call influencing the influencers. If you look at over the next 10 years and think about who are the powers or forces or sectors or governments that are going to shape development, it's always changing, and we've got to keep our eye on which influencers do we want to influence. So that's what that third phase will be. Now, as I say, a lot of what came through in the staff survey and the terrific work that the committee is doing on this, and by the way, everybody should give them a shout out, the people who've stepped up to form this committee, take your concerns and translate them into positive solutions. These things will operate in tandem and very closely together because they're all addressing the same set of challenges. So what does this mean for you? Hopefully it means that you're going to see improvements in the things that have been of concern. We're going to be more efficient, we're going to be more transparent, and we're all going to be a lot happier. Here's what I want to ask you. I would like everybody to join in this effort and help us make it work. Give us feedback to the staff committee, to the team that's going to be rolling out these 3 phases. But together, I think we can get over a hump that I think has stymied many of us. Now, I'm not above trying to sweeten the pot a little bit. So the surprise is everybody has been working really, really, really hard. We're going to have a really busy September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So I am closing one offices on August 30th and 31st. The first, it turns out, is our last summer Friday. So my request to all of you is take some time, recharge, sleep, go to the movies, do what you do. For those of you for whom that may be an impossibility because you've got key responsibilities, talk to your supervisor if you need to make another arrangement. And I know that a lot of us, myself included, are going to have to keep our eye on things during those few days to keep various things running. So I appreciate that. But the bottom line is, let's all take a little bit of a break. And when we come back, here's what I would ask of you. Come back with a sense of humor. Come back with your eyes on the mission. Come back ready to help us make these new systems and steps work. Have your colleagues' backs. And just be kind. We want the world to be kind, and I want us to be kind. So have a good August. Have a really good August 30th and 31st. And we'll talk again in September. Thanks.